Hello and welcome to an unboxing and initial review of Warhammer Shadespire. Now this is the new competitive game being brought out by Games Workshop and it was released today, so hopefully seeing this will help you decide if you want to purchase it or not. It's got some nice artwork on the front, and as you'll see it's a fast-paced game of tactical arena combat. Now certain YouTube channels such as The Beast of War have got full game playthroughs, and they take about half an hour to 40 minutes, an hour tops. So it's more in line of something similar to X-Wing, where you have cards and miniatures as opposed to just miniatures and stats, as well as having some custom dice. So on the back of the box we get to see our full contents. We get Liberators and some Reavers, Blood Reavers. So we get Severin Steelheart, who's the leader of the Steelhearts, Steelheart Champion I think they are, and then we have Garrick Gorebeard, which is part of Garrick's Reavers I want to say. So the contents of this box is 3 Liberators, 5 Blood Reavers, 8 fighter cards, 2 double-sided game boards, 96 upgrade, ploy and objective cards, 126 tokens, 8 Warhammer Underworld custom dice, a 32-page rulebook, and a quick start sheet. And then just on the bottom of the box here, it discusses the main steps of build your warband, construct your deck, defeat your rivals, as well as giving it 2 players, 30 minutes-ish, and ages 12 and above. So without further ado, let's crack on in. Let's see if the cellophane decides to play ball. Oh, it does. So I'll quickly remove this off. It's a pretty hefty box, but not big. I mean, that's my hand over it. So we open the box and immediately we're greeted with punch-out sheets in some more cellophane wrap. And the game board, presumably. So, set that aside for a second. The rule book and the quick start guide, as well as the instructions. The Liberators sprue, which I'll go for in a moment, the Blood Reavers sprue, the 8 dice, so it looks like there's 5 of the attacking dice and 3 of the defending dice, giving you a rough idea of what to expect when playing. And we have a deck for the Liberators, which curiously says, open this when you want to play your first game. This pack includes fighter cards, an objective deck, and a power deck for Liberators. So the game comes with pre-built decks for both factions, as well as a pack of objective and ploy cards that you can use once you've got used to the game. A fair few bits of plastic baggies to keep stuff in, and then just like a little booklet to get you into the rest of it. So this is your gateway drug essentially. So let's remove that off the table. First things first, let's have a look at the miniatures. So these are described as easy to build. And they definitely look it. Every fighter looks to be 1 or 2 parts. So, for example, this guy, I believe from the reviews I've seen, is Blooded Seek or Sake, something like that. And he is literally a 1 half of the body, second half of the body, and a base. Same goes for crazy Berserker Viking guy, whatever his name is. He is a front, a back, and again another base. So they look to be incredibly simple to put together, but all in all, these look to be standard GW quality, which is high, as well as looking simple to put together. So it's a double whammy, large parts that still look good. And then we have the Liberators, again very simple to put together. The coloured plastic, meaning you can just jump straight into a game. As well as the coloured plastic being something that repeats on the Sepulchral Guard and the Oryx. So we'll get into this now. So with a knife, let's see. So we'll have a look at these punch-out cards, and then we will have a look at the we'll have a quick look at the deck. So, these look to be decent quality punch-outs. Again, this one's just come out. That gives you an idea of the thickness. It's roughly, I'd say, the same as the Assassin's board game, if you ever played that. We also have wound tokens, glory points, activation markers. These are the objectives, I believe, and then just some different status effects. It's like charged, etc. So that sheet, well, I'm assuming all of the punch-out sheets are unique. For example, we have this one then, which is the different objective numbers, a lot of glory points, more wound counters, and then again here, all the way up to objective number 9. So all in all, it's a pretty interesting mix in these sheets, and they look good, solid quality. And we have the boards, which fold out. Okay, so your playing area is made up of 2 of these, which are placed next to each other, and basically you've got to have a certain amount of hexagons touching. I believe it's the long way it has to be at least 3 full hexagons, and short ways has to be at least 2. So you can create some proper choke points. So this is one side, and then this is the other side, which has got some impassable terrain marked out by them. And then the second board, because they aren't repeats, is a collapsed statue here from Shadespire, and that which looks pretty similar to the reverse on this side, but they're not. None of them are identical, and I also believe there's going to be more boards coming out in the future. We'll have a quick look at the dice. Not a very sharp knife, it just gets the job done. Have a quick look at the dice. Okay, so the white dice are your attacking dice and the black dice are your defending dice. So on a white die, you get swords, hammers, double support, single support, and a critical. Basically, hammers are more accurate attacks. Swords is only one of, there's one critical, there's one single support, and one double support. Basically how this works is on your fighter card, it will say hammers if you're attacking, so let's say a liberator. He needs to roll hammers or critical to count as a hit. So that's a total of 3 faces he can use. However, if he has a fighter also in base contact with his opponent, and I believe they have to be adjacent to them as well. So for example, using this board, if they had a fighter, if say Steelheart was there, Garrick was there, and another Liberator there, then I'd be able to use that side as well to show he has a single bit of support. However, if the 3 Liberators were across this with just Garrick there, I'd also use that side. So you want to stack the odds in your favour, essentially going from a 50-50 chance to a 5 out of 6. And then defense dice work in a similar way. You've got shields, a dodge, support, double support, and a critical. I won't open the extra cards for now, we'll go through those in another video. We'll open up the Liberators deck first, just to give you a quick idea of what to expect. So we have the little card telling us what to do with some art, which is always nice. And then we have the 3 fighters, so we'll have a quick look at the fighters first. So we have a Severin Steelheart, as displayed here. Oberyn the Bold, who's the massive hammer-wielding guy. And then there's Angharad Brightshield, who is the first female Stormcast they revealed. Now, On these cards you'll see they have the name, their faction, the model, a little bit of flavour text. If they have a special rule it'll be there. How they attack, how far they can move, how many defense they roll and how many wounds they have. So basically, Angharad here, she has a range of her attack of 1 hex, so they need to be next to her. She rolls 3 of these attacking dice, and she's looking for hammers to count as success. And then, if she gets a successful attack off, she inflicts 2 damage on your opponent. She inspires by either rolling a block or a critical when the target of attack. Importantly, it says it doesn't have to be a successful defense. So it will allow you to still fail the defense. So even if it's impossible for you to block an attack, you should still try to block it to get your Stormcast inspired. She can move 3 hexes. She rolls a single defense die when defending, and because it's a shield, she's looking for shields. And she has 4 wounds. Then, whenever she rolls her first defense or critical defense, you flip the card to show her inspired side. Now, she gains Furious Parry, which is a special rule here, which we'll have a quick look at. During an attack action that targets this fighter and has failed, this fighter can not be driven back, and you can make this attack action. It must attack the attacker. Essentially, it allows you to, if she's hit, to punch back. As long as it failed. She also notably rolls 2 defense dice here. It is a weaker attack, however, but it's still an attack. Oberyn gets something pretty similar. He gains a second type of attack, 2 defense. And Severin Steelheart, again, something similar. He gains a special rule, Mighty Swing, which allows him to attack everyone adjacent. So we have the objective cards then, which you score at the end of rounds or occasionally immediately. So I'll just pick a random one out. We'll do Sigmar's Bulwark. Score this in the end phase if none of your fighters suffered any damage. So basically, at the end of the turn, if none of your fighters took any damage, you'd score a glory point. And that just repeats throughout. And then we have power cards and ploys. So I'll get an example of an upgrade. I'll take the Lightning Blade, which is an upgrade for Steelheart. Essentially, during the end of any activation, you can spend a glory to equip an upgrade. Notably, though, you don't lose this glory, you just flip it to show it's been spent. And this gives Severin Steelheart an extra attack, which is a range of 2, so he can attack 2 hexes out, 2 hammers and does 1 damage. And if it's a critical hit, it scores 2 damage. So it doesn't do a lot of damage, it allows you to plick away at your enemies, but at range. This is in thing of a standard power card or a ploy card, and basically this one is choose a friendly fighter and put them on guard, and it's as simple as that. And you can do that at the end of any one of your activations. We'll quickly do the same thing for the Blood Reavers. Again, I'll just split open the bag a little bit. So in the Blood Reavers, we get a lot more fighters because generally they're a lot weaker. I won't go an in-depth look at these guys, I'll just use Garrick Gorebeard as an example. So Garrick Gorebeard, he has his fluff text and a Blood Drinker Axe. You'll immediately notice he does less damage and less hits than the Stormcast, but he still hits on hammers. He's also faster, but he dodges rather than shields, so he's looking essentially for a 6 as opposed to a 5 and a 6 on the dice. He also has 4 wounds, which is as tough as a standard Stormcast. Notably, the Khorne Bloodbound guys, they inspire after 3 fighters out of action. So that could be a Stormcast and 2 of these guys, 3 of these guys, 2 Stormcast, 1 of them. Once 3 guys are out, you flip, and he gets the Awakened Axe, which does more damage and he's faster. Looking at Crassus the Chained, however, just to use a different example, again he inspires after 3 fighters are out. He has 2 different attacks he can choose from, which is a less damage, more range, or less range, more damage. And once he flips, he just gains a damage and can do Savage Whirl, which targets everyone adjacent. So yeah. And then if we just look quickly at these, just to give you an idea of what to expect. Filling these guys, you get their objectives, which are more about killing. Berserk Charge is one of their upgrades, which is when Blooded Sake charges, he counts the sword and the hammer symbol as a success. And then Apply is Desecrate. You can remove an objective from the field to stop your opponent from scoring it. Okay, so that has been a quick look into the Shadespire box. I'm hoping to make this a fairly regular thing on the channel. It seems like something quick and easy I can film as opposed to having to set aside times for games. If you'd like that, leave a comment. I will be doing a how to play video of this next week, so keep an eye out for that. But until then, that has been That Welsh Nerd. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.